Nice to meet you.
Yeah, what's your name?
Harleen.
We haven't met yet.
We have met. Harleen.
Harleen. Hey,
Ezra.
pleasure. Yeah.
Nice to
good
meet you.
meet you.
I gotta tell you, the role. I mean, life-changing.
Thank you.
I came out of the theater and I'm not surprised at all that you're not just like so many accolades. I can't even talk. It was such a fabulous role. It meant a great deal.
Your life for the better. Right?
Totally.
Okay, good.
Totally.
It was life ruining. You know, that would be terrible if you told me that.
Life changing.
Okay, good, yeah.
So, did you ever read the book before playing it?
Yeah, I read the book when I was 14 years old. So
Did you?
in my mind, when I was reading the book, you know, I was in the perspective of Charlie.
Okay.
It was sort of a strange thing to get the
Really?
script and then
Okay.
realize that now I was like, right, I was on the other end of that. You know what I mean? Being the,
Yeah.
I had some friends in high school actually, weirdly enough, the people who introduced me to this book
Yeah.
were very much like my Sam and Patrick.
Really?
They were like people who helped me through that early adolescent time where you don't know if you're going crazy or not.
Right.
And so then to sort of realize that I was, by the time I got the script, in the position where I could be that person who was reaching out and helping someone else,
Right.
it's kind of a nice, like, karmic cycle.
Did Stephen Chbosky help you develop Patrick at all?
Yeah, I mean, the vision was so clear in his mind. He knew exactly who this kid was, that he could tell me straight on. You know, he was always ready to guide. You know, whatever my vision was of Patrick, he was able to simultaneously accept it and also, like, you know, just like guide me into his vision of the character, which is really what we were all as actors after. We just wanted to make Steve happy because this is his it's his beautiful story. You know?
He's so amazing, and when he writes to you that you are infinite, it's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean,
well,
it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, very much. Thank you so much. Love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I mean,
Please welcome the president of the board of the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, Doug Stone.
Good evening, and welcome to kind of the halfway point of the 28th Santa Barbara International Film Festival. Tonight is the Virtuosos Award. It's a great evening, a chance not to see one person, but to see 6 people who had fantastic performances this year. The moderator for tonight, his 3rd year in a row, he is the host of the Frontrunners on Fandango, Dave Karger. Please welcome Dave.
Thank you so much. It is my absolute pleasure to be back a 3rd year hosting the Virtuosos. This is a highlight of my year. I love this crowd, I love this theater, I love this town, and it's a pleasure for me to be here. I will tell you, if there's one thing that our 6 very impressive virtuosos can teach us, it's that when you're an actor, a breakthrough moment in your career can happen at really any time. It can happen in your first professional acting job, as it did with our Oscar nominee Quvenzhané Wallis from Beasts of the Southern Wild. It can happen when you're, let's say, in high school or college age, like Elle Fanning or Ezra Miller. It can happen when you've been at it for about a decade or so, when you're in your early 30s, like Eddie Redmayne or Omar Sy. Or it can happen when you've been toiling on stage, film, and television for over 3 decades, like Ann Dowd. It is a fantastic half dozen of actors tonight that I'm going to have the pleasure to introduce you to, but before I do, let's watch a highlight reel of their work. Okay, next up on our alphabetical by last name list is Ezra Miller. I had a feeling he had some fans here, as well he should. I feel like every generation has that one movie that really speaks to the young generation. For my generation, it was probably The Breakfast Club. And I have a feeling that for the current generation, it's going to be The Perks of Being a Wallflower. So let's watch a clip of Perks and Ezra Miller. Please welcome Ezra Miller. I love that. We love you, Nothing. Nothing is his character's kind of mean nickname.
Terrible nickname. I'm really glad you guys showed the crying scene. It was going to be troubling for me if it was like all of these emotional geniuses, and then this kid can cross-dress. It's impressive. Check that out.
I did think the same thing. I was like, are they all just going to show that one little bit? Come on, he does a lot more than that. So for people who don't know, Perks of Being a Wallflower was a book written by Stephen Chbosky, who then adapted his own book into a screenplay and directed the movie too as a first-timer and did a fantastic job. From what I understand, you were a fan of the book, way before this was ever going to be a movie.
Yeah, I read the book when I was 14 years old and was a confused young adolescent and needed a book like that, needed a mythology like that to sort of pull me through. And it's a crazy thing to then 4 years later be able to be a part of the film. That's it.
When you read it, did you ever visualize yourself as Patrick, or was Patrick a completely other person?
Yeah, no, in my mind, reading the book when I was 14, just coming into high school, I read it as Charlie, interestingly enough. And I actually had two friends who introduced me to the book who were seniors, who were like my Sam and Patrick in many ways, and like sort of those friends who got me through that experience. And so it was sort of incredible 4 years later to get the script and then to realize that I'd aged to the point where I could be the helpful person, not the confused young child.
This character is so great in so many ways. So many young gay film characters are these very timid, confused, shy, insecure. Patrick has all of these shadings to him, but he is confident. Mm-hmm. He knows exactly who he is. He's not coming to terms with anything. He is who he is. I think that's really powerful, and it must have been very exciting to play.
Very exciting. Yeah, it's that thing, right? Ever since we let the gays into the movies, it's been, it's a lot of tokenization. This happens all the time. The token gay character, oh, he's so funny and fantastic, and that's happened a lot. Or they're often purely victims, you know what I mean? Which is, there's an element of that should be depicted, but it's exciting it's exciting to read the book and then have a film where there's such a strong, brave, compassionate, confident gay character. I think
Amen.
That's, more of that.
Yeah, more of that. That'd be great. Can you talk a little bit and put your finger on what you think is so special about Stephen Chbosky? Because this is a guy who I just think has his finger on. I mean, he's got to be around my age, if not even a couple years older. But he has his finger on what the younger generation has to be going through, is going through. He can speak to them.
A lot of people putting fingers on stuff. Okay. Where can I put my finger?
Did I say it twice?
It's okay. It's all good. He has amazing fingers. Stephen's like the most generous guy I've ever met. An incredible communicator and just like one of those people who is endlessly giving, but not to a fault. You know what I mean? He can give endlessly, and it's not like he's a martyr. He's wearing himself out. And it was an amazing thing. This was his vision. This was very much his experience. We filmed the film where he grew up and where the book takes place. And it was almost like he was really generously like ushering all of us actors into his memories, which was, I mean, it was great that never felt like a violation.
Well, as one of the fans in the audience yelled out and, called you Nothing, that's what a lot of the people in the movie call your character, and it's kind of a joke that backfires on him. Did you try to put yourself in the mindset, I'm not going to say put your finger on it, of what it must have been like to go through your high school experience being called Nothing on a daily basis?
I think that's an unfortunate reality of the American high school experience for everyone. It has an amazing ability to make everybody feel like the most insignificant cog in such a terrible machine. I mean, it makes sense that we came up with our public school system during the Industrial Revolution, because it's just like everybody's a factory worker. Eat your terrible food and go back to the room where you're silent and listen to an idiot just talk for hours on end. You know, that's an epitomizing idea, getting called nothing for your whole high school experience. That's how it makes you feel. Alas. Yeah.
We saw the clip of you of Patrick doing the live Rocky Horror. Did you have to kind of bone up on that, or was that already in your repertoire?
That was like, yeah.
Put your finger on that.
And I had to put my finger on it, really. So I have 2 older sisters, and the eldest was charged one night when I was maybe 8 or 9 years old with babysitting the younger 2, and she decided to show us the Rocky Horror Picture Show. She'd never seen it before, and so we started watching it, and I was fascinated and excited by a lot of things I couldn't yet completely understand. And midway through, I think she had like an epiphany and was horrified and turned it off and was like, "You can never tell Mom and Dad that when I showed you this movie, they'll be so mad at me." And so then I was obsessed with something that I had to keep a secret, which is always good. Nothing like a nice bit of repression to make something like super freaky. And so, I was thinking about Rocky Horror from when I was inappropriately young, and so it was kind of like unleashing that that monster at long last into the world.
So what did your sister say when she saw the movie?
This is actually the eldest sister has a very low tolerance for anything disturbing in films, so she hasn't seen any of my other films. So this is the first film she saw, and she really loved it. Yeah, I think she was proud of me and stuff. It's nice.
Yeah, so she'll never see when you talk about Kevin.
No, she actually will never see it.
Right, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's intense, but she can't deal. She's the child who, like, when the witch would come on in The Wizard of Oz, she'd like cover her eyes with a pillow. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's her.
And then the last thing I want to ask you about, this movie has a very realistic kind of cafeteria fight scene in it, where your character is called the F word, and he kind of goes crazy, as he should. And it's a great fight scene, and you guys definitely seem to
really fight.
Do it.
That's because we did it. Yeah. So we admitted to each other 2 months later that we both sustained relatively harmful injuries over the course of shooting that scene. We had, they bring on these stunt choreographers who were trying to choreograph with us a fight scene. It just didn't feel real. And the last thing either of us wanted was to have the gay characters in the film have like a terrible, I guess we were avoiding that, and it was looking like that for a second. And so there was that sort of great moment between Johnny and I where we were like, let's just beat each other up. Won't that look best?
But you're okay now?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
I'm glad.
Thank you for asking.
I'm glad everyone else is glad, and I'm glad you gave this amazing performance. Congratulations. Ezra
Thanks,
Miller.
guys. Take care.